ghost ships, green diamonds, Vikings, winged apes, all that and more. Stick around. Hi folks, Old Man Grognard here. Today we're going to be looking at a module called the Ghost Ship of the Desert Dunes, or Ghost Ship of the Desert Dunes if you want to be specific. Written by Jeffrey P. Tarnelin, originally for use with Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, but that does not mean you can't use it with other old school games, especially first edition AD&D, and might I say even second edition. Jeffrey is the original author of both this module and Astonishing Swordsman, so it's good. It's got a really good, this is the pulp tale. Not just the pulp tale, but a pulp tale, but it's the pulpiest of the pulps. As I was reading it, I'll get into that later. Let me get into the plot a little bit. This was inspired by a Robert E. Howard story, and he threw in a few other things. First of all, the backstory is a sorcerer discovers an old Atlantean skyship powered by these green diamonds. And if you're thinking what I'm thinking, yeah, they're radioactive. And this wizard, sorcerer, whatever, found a baby winged ape, carnivorous ape, that he raised as his pet named Thakos. Well, Thakos got big. Thakos got a little smart. He tended to have, as apes will do, primal rages once in a while. He had a big crew harvesting the green diamonds because the ship was powered by it and he wanted more. And the green diamonds tend to give you what they call the green sickness, the little green sickness, which is partly radiation poisoning, and it also drives you insane eventually. You also get obsessed with the green diamonds, so you've got the one ring plus radiation poisoning. Things went from bad to worse. They were using real precautions around this, but the ape got mad one day, and killed the sorcerer. He just snapped his neck, pulled his head right off. And so then the workers who were stuck there kept harvesting the diamonds, but they kept getting more and more insane because they stopped using the precautions because there was nobody around to tell them, and the ape didn't know, from Jack. They started worshiping the ape, and the ape started getting the poison too. In fact, that's partly why he killed the sorcerer. Then these ship of Vikings come along. This is in the desert with a river, okay? So there's a river, and these Vikings came upriver looking for loot to pillage, to plunder, whatever Vikings do. They come across this. The captain gets obsessed with the green diamonds, fights the ape and his men, and loses. And they become zombies, radioactive zombies. Ooh. So that's pretty much the backstory. The PCs, and this is, oh, by the way, here's the book. The PCs, which, by the way, this is for characters 2nd through 6th level, they are hired by this other wizard to find the skyship and find the green diamonds because he has his own. He wants to use them for research or whatever. And so he hires them. You go on a boat, and you go from there you go 28 days in the desert. You find where the ship is buried because the Viking ship ran aground because the river dried up all of a sudden. And so, and the desert dunes have buried the ship. So you get off at a port, Cape Calencia, and you go looking for, you and the crew, and you got about 10 donkeys with water and other things on them. So you're on your way, and that's basically what you do. And what you find is some weird stuff. You have to deal with mirages and giant bees, hyena men, some of which ride large lizards, which is kind of neat. Once you get into the ship and the area, you have traps and things like that the sorcerers set up because, like, the ship is on top, and then they burrowed through the ship to get to the mines for some reason. They also have another entrance, but it's got a really nice feel to it. It was, like I said, it was inspired by Robert E. Howard's story Rogues in the House, which was a Conan story. That was basically where he got the idea of the carnivorous ape and such. Oh, and also, after the Vikings died, their ghosts ride in a ghost Viking longship that people see every once in a while. That thing right there. And don't, I mean, you have a percentage chance of joining the crew, and that's not a good thing. But it's seen every once in a while, and the legend is it portends death. So you got that thing going on. I kept feeling like the pulp, the weird pulp, the Howard, because in the end they gotta face the ape, which is totally radioactive, and it's got a wonderful final set piece in a chamber, the main chamber, the chamber of mirrors, where you can watch everything. The ape knew they were coming because the chamber of mirrors is like having a wall of videos, like you're in a security area and you're watching security cameras. So he knew they were coming, but he thought he could scare them off, and that didn't work. So he started fighting them. They also had this nice little, this is kind of like a little bit of a sandbox too, because it's got this side quest. Once you get into port from the sea, this Cape Calencia, they're, nice folk. They worship this guy called Kalatzu, which is, I think, is a kraken. Used to be worshipped by Apollo, and it's got places you can do, and it's got a little side story about these two brothers, one of whom killed a cousin or something like that, and he was cast off, or he banished himself. And they have not only monks of Kalatzu, but they also have a coven of witches there. Nice, I mean, they've been there for years. I mean, they run some of the stores and stuff like that, so they're not really, really evil, but they did curse the brother with lycanthropy. So you got that going on. You've got, like, the Temple of Apollo, which has been abandoned and, defaced and all this other stuff. So you got that little dynamic going on. Plus, the Cape Calencia makes a nice little base once you take care of their problem. And the nice thing is, that's the part two of the adventure. It's kind of a side thing, because the MacGuffin in there is an amphora made of the green diamonds. And that's what caused the brother to kill the other one and get banished, because he coveted it, because the green diamond was working on him. And so you got a little nice side quest there if you want it, because even in here they said if you're only running it a short time or something like that, or you want it, one evening or 2 evenings, you can eliminate that and just go Cape Silencia to the desert, which is nice. I always like that kind of flexibility in a game. It's written really nice. Here's what it looks like. Here, nice 2-column, real clear text, real easy to follow. Here's the map of Cape Silencia. So he's got a few nice maps. I mean, these are gorgeous. I'd love to use this for other games too. It's just a beautiful, beautiful map. I forgot who did the maps. I didn't see who put the maps on here. There's the werewolf. There's the brothers, the werewolf. Really good artwork. I like it. And he puts stats for everything you need if you're going to run into it. And he repeats stat blocks. Some people say, oh God, he's wasting, but it really comes in handy. I can skip over stat blocks. I have no problem with that. Here's one of the plates they have in here. They're all black and white. Beautiful stuff. Plus he's got maps. Here's the Diamond Desert where the ship is. And and you have to deal with the environment too, because you got, like, he says it's not real hot. It gets maybe 80 at the most, but you got sandstorms, and you got raids by hyena men, and you got, you have your problems. And this is what the Amazon skyship looked like that everybody was looking for originally. It is powered by the green diamonds. I was kind of hesitant to. I know pulp. I know pulp fantasy has to do with. They throw stuff. They throw stuff in there that I go, what? But I'm used to that now. It's because I know things like Howard would use things like terrors from beyond the stars, like Lovecraftian things, in a action adventure way, which means that they don't look at it and go crazy. They look at it and go, I'm going to kill it. But when I saw the green diamonds, it made me pause. Because, well, what made me pause even more was the fact that these didn't fall from the sky. These didn't fall from another civilization. These grow here. They have mines of green diamonds in this area. And now that may have another explanation. Maybe I haven't read the main book close enough. But whenever there's sci-fi elements in a fantasy game, either I roll with it, like say it was Thundar or He-Man type stuff, or I question it. Only because it started with Expedition of the Barrier Peaks, which this kind of reminds me of a little bit, because I thought that, you know, I got the idea they were trying to they had Metamorphosis Alpha coming out right around that time, so basically that was kind of getting people used to that kind of thing if they wanted to play on a spaceship with mutations and stuff like that. I understand that, but I always felt that introducing sci-fi in fantasy should be done judiciously and carefully, because I'm afraid the sci-fi is going to overwhelm the fantasy. And I know you're going for a Weird Tales vibe, and I'm not going to knock that. So I was just a little hesitant, but I liked the story, and it worked with the story. Now, if you want to keep green diamonds in your game, that's your prerogative. But I'm just, putting that out there, saying I for one, try and keep a lid on that kind of stuff. I use it for flavor, for the way it was intended in a Weird Tale. I'm not saying that the author didn't. I'm not saying Jeff didn't, but I think at the end of the day, I think he handled it really nice, and it really feels that way. I also got this vibe from the basic module, The Lost City. I kept thinking of The Lost City, and I kept thinking, if this was near The Lost City, this would be really interesting. Kind of mash those two together. You got a Viking ghost ship, you got a ziggurat with competing factions, plus you have green, and then you put green diamonds in it. Oh boy. So this one's really good. I really like this module. I could do stuff with this. And this is one of 4 I got from Jeff, 2 of which he wrote. And so I'll be doing the other ones in the future. But this is a great start. I'm really glad Jeff sent me these, because for the longest time, I didn't know what to do with the Astonishing Swordsman and Sorcerers of Hyperborea. It's a great system, and it's a great, they give you Gazetteer and all this stuff. But so I started trying to think about adapting stuff. And from, like, say, AD&D, there are certain AD&D modules that fit in right in with this, The Lost City, things like that. But this one and the other 3 he sent me are really giving me the idea of what the tone is and what I'm going for in these things, the high adventure. So I appreciate that. And if you want to get a copy of this, you go to Northwind Adventures website. If you want a print copy of it, they're about $20. It's about $20. Drive Through RPG and RPG Now has the PDF for $10. And that's about where you can get them. You may get them on Amazon. I'm not sure, but I mean, they're worth it. They're the money well spent right here. I think it's. I've told before. I think it's a little pricey, but then I read the module, and it's like, yeah, this is worth every cent. They're all worth every cent. And so go out, check it out, and it'd be a great boon for your game. I mean, not only as is, but in mashing it in with a few other things if you want to. You can do a lot of stuff with this. And all four of these is the same way, but I'll get to those. I'm going to do them as I read through them. So go out and get it, and if you want to talk about it with me, oldmangrognard@gmail.com. Until then, until next time, bye-bye.